We'll start with our science, as usual, our science. You can go ahead and get out your science, guys. We're moving on to our next chapter in our book, on chapter 3, which is page 31. Talk about plants, page 31. Sometimes we can answer our own questions. Okay, page 31 in your science. Turn around, do your work. All right, so we are now moving on to our next section in our book, which will cover plants. So we've already covered all the parts of our body. We talked about our brains, the 5 senses, our eyes, our mouth, our nose, our ears, and our skin, which give us feeling. We talked about our bones, and last week we talked about digestion, our teeth, and how that works. So now we're moving on to a new chapter, which is our plant, talking about plants. So let's look at page 31. It's going to be pretty quick today. Enjoying the plant world. You wanted to read? Okay, Mariah. We're gonna go around next week.
Before God created people, He created the plants for us to live. He gave a place for us to live. He gave the gift of plant world even before He made us. God created people and animals to depend on plants. Plants give us oxygen. Our bodies need oxygen in order to live. Plants give us nutrients. All of the food we eat comes from plants in some way.
Good. Okay, so we know that God created us, but He also created the plants before us. Remember on day 3, that's when He created the dry land on day 3. So when the Lord created plants, He made plants because when He made us, plants gave us oxygen, and we know that we need oxygen in order to breathe. And we did discuss that on last week, how plants give us oxygen. We are able to breathe because of oxygen, which we get from plants. Not only does plants give us oxygen, but plants also give us nutrients as well. And pretty much everything we eat comes from a plant in some kind of way. So plants are very essential and important. It's an important part of life. We get oxygen, we get nutrients, and we get food from plants. All 3 of those things come from plants. So plants are very important, right? Yes, and all 3 of these things that I named are things that are essential to our survival. Okay, 32. Okay, Joshua. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Milk comes from cows, but cows eat plants so they can make milk. Eggs come from chickens, but chickens eat plants so they can make eggs. Even the meat we eat came from an animal that depended on plants for food. Vegetables, grains, beans, nuts, and seeds are plants. All of those foods give us nutrients. that our body needs. There are hundreds of thousands of kinds of plants. God created them in all sizes and colors for us to use and enjoy.
Okay, so like I said, everything that we eat comes from plants. So for example, milk, right? If you drink cow milk, or if you eat steak, beef, any of that, that comes from a cow. But guess what a cow needs to survive? Plants, grass. Cows eat grass. Some of them will eat corn. And they need all of these things because it helps them to survive. So we wouldn't be able to enjoy a burger, beef, or milk, any of that, if there were no cows, if cows didn't have plants to eat. Eggs, right? If you eat eggs, if you like chicken, chickens eat plants. If there were no plants, there will be no chickens. So you see, everything we eat depends on plants. Everything from sheep, every animal, they all eat plants. And if we like anything from that animal, whether it's the meat that they provide or the eggs, like the chicken, they all need plants. So since they need plants, they'll survive. And then we're able to eat the meat that we eat. So yes, so God did give us all different kinds of plants. But not only do we need plants, but the animals need plants as well. Okay, 33 parts of a plant. So let's talk about the 4 different parts of a plant. Okay, yeah, Carson.
Most plants have roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. The roots take water and nutrients from the earth. The stem moves the water and the nutrients from the root to the leaves. The leaves make food for the plant. The flower is the part of the plant that makes the seeds. Without the flower, we would have no new plants. Some plants have cones rather than flowers. Can you name some plants that have cones?
I'll Okay, good. So we do have, all plants have 4 parts to it, right? We have the roots, the stem, the leaves, and the flower. So the roots job is to take water from nutrients from the soil. The stem will then move that water and nutrients to the roots. The roots job is to make food for the plant, and the flower's job is to make the seeds. So we will break down each part when we get to it. You don't have to know exactly what each part does now. You just have to know the 4 parts for the test on Thursday. But all plants have 4 parts. All of them is the roots, the stem, the leaves, and the flower. Some plants will not have a flower. They will have what's called a cone instead, like a pine tree, for example, has a cone instead of a flower. So all plants have 4 parts: root, stem, leaves, and flower. Some of them have cones, okay? Like I said, you won't have to know what each part does just yet. We'll break down each part over the next few weeks, and that's when you'll test on what each part is, what each part does for the plant, okay? So that's it, guys. Introduction to our chapter in science, discussing plants and what plants give us. Plants give us oxygen, nutrients, and also food we eat comes from plants. Everything that we eat, whether it's the meat we like to eat, they need plants to survive. So when they eat the plant, they survive, and then we're able to get the meat that we need. All plants have 4 parts: the root, the stem, the leaves, and the flower. Some of them have cones, okay? All right, so that's it for science. Good job with science. Let's go ahead and move on to our social studies. Page 45, talking about colonial America. Social studies, page 45. What? Okay, maybe try to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, this. What page are you?
All right, so here we are. So the last 2 weeks we were discussing the Pilgrims and their journey to America and how they finally arrived in America, right? It wasn't easy for them when they first got here because it was winter time and a lot of them were hungry during this time, and a lot of them ended up getting sick and they died as well because of that. But then they met a Native American named Squanto who helped them out in several ways. Squanto helped them, taught them how to plant corn. Squanto taught them exactly how to do it, where they would dig a hole, fertilize the soil with the dead fish. And he also taught them how to hunt, how to fish, and those things, right? So they got their things ready. So when the next fall/winter came, they were more prepared this time. They decided to set aside a day to give thanks and they praised the Lord. So after the Pilgrims arrived here in America, years have gone on and the Pilgrims began to grow. They began to become more people. They began to build towns. They began to spread out as well, because when they arrived in Plymouth, Massachusetts. But as time went on, they began to spread all along the East Coast, right? So they began to spread out. Some of them went up into like Maine. Let me show you on the map. So yes, so when they came here, they came to Massachusetts, which is up here. But then over time, they began to spread all along the East Coast. So now they are all throughout here. Okay. So this time we'll talk about it when we read. Okay. So let's look at 45 and let's begin reading. Let's talk about colonial America. Didn't ask for that. So as time began to go on, they began to spread out because they became more. And so this time is known as the colonial times. Okay, Faith, page 45. Oh, Kenley and then Faith.
Can I read Miss Fugents?
Yeah, after Faith.
Many years have passed since the Pilgrims. More and more people have come from England to live in America. They spread out along the Atlantic coast, living within 13 colonies. A colony is a word that is ruled by another country. Can you guess who ruled the American colonies? England ruled the first American colonies. At that time, the colonies moved at the beginning of I can't hear it, Miss Fugents.
Okay. No. Okay. Right. So many years have passed since the Pilgrims had their Thanksgiving. So more and more people began to come to America. And on top of that, the first Pilgrims that were here began to increase as well. So now we have a bunch of people living in America. And like I showed you on the map, they began to spread out all along the East Coast here. They began to spread out. They began to spread out more along the East Coast. And so as they spread out, there were 13 colonies that they all began to live in. So they were not states at the time. So we know them today as states, But before they were called states, they were called colonies, okay? So I'll refer to them as colonies. So there are 13 of them total that they lived in. And a colony is a land that is ruled by another country. Because although they were here in America, they did not have control of America. England still had control. Although, yes, they were in a whole different country. They left England to come here for different reasons. England still had control over the colonies. That's why they were called a colony. So a colony is land that is ruled by another country. That is a test question. A colony is land that is ruled by another country. So these 13 colonies, how that ended up happening is a lot of people who were wealthy came from England and they began to take over like certain areas, certain pieces of land, and a lot of them named their land usually after themselves or after where they were from in England. So that's why a lot of England was still in control of a lot of the colonies. So this is before the states even came about. These are called colonies. So turn the page and I'll show you which are the 13 colonies. If you turn to page 46. So these are the 13 colonies. And yes, we will have a test on this. We will have a test where you have to label where each one is on the map. So we have, these are the 13 colonies. You can look at the yellow, which are the New England colonies. There's New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Those are 4. Then the purple are the middle colonies. That's where New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware are. And then we have the southern colonies, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. These are the 13 colonies. These are the colonies that the Pilgrims spread out amongst. They spread out throughout all of these 13 colonies. You had some in the north, some in the south, some in the middle colonies, but these are the 13 colonies, okay? So let's read on 46, Faith. Mm-hmm.
Are we going to read up here?
Yeah.
Do you see the word
Colony. And colonial.
Colonia?
Mm-hmm.
The years that England ruled these 13 colonies in America are called
Colonial.
colonial.
Yeah, those words
days.
all look alike, but
A person who lived of the American colonies under the rule of the English is called colony.
colonist. Good. So yeah, guys, so all 3 of those words look similar, but they all have a different meaning. So colony, again, is land that is ruled by another government. So the years that England ruled over the colonies is called the colonial days. So colonial days are the days when England had control of the colonies. And the people who lived inside of the 13 colonies were called the colonists, okay? So colony is a land ruled by another government. Colonial days are the days when England ruled over the land of the 13 colonies. And a colonist is a person who lived in the 13 colonies. You will have to know the difference between all 3 on the test on Friday, okay? So let's look at 47. Colonial life. So let's talk about colonial life. So like the homes they had and also the type of food they would eat as well. So colonial life. All right, so Faith, Avaya, that's you. 47.
What kind of houses did people live in during colonial days? What would happen? That would depend on where they lived. Most of the houses in New England were clapboard houses. Many colonists in Pennsylvania or New York built log cabins to live in. A colonist living in Maryland might have lived in a stone house. In the southern colony, some people live in plantation homes.
Good.
Plantation homes.
All right, so in each of the 3 different sections of colonies, that all the people lived in different kinds of homes. So a lot of the New England homes, remember New England is the yellow portion here. A lot of the New England homes were clapboard houses, and that's what it looks like. You can see on the picture. It's called a clapboard house because usually the house was made with boards all around, so they called it a clapboard house. Then we have Pennsylvania and New York right here. The middle colonies. In Pennsylvania and New York, they lived in log cabins a lot of time. That's where a lot of them lived, in log cabins. And then in Maryland, they lived in stone houses. And you could actually see some of those houses today if you visit any of those states. You could see some of those same houses. And then in the South, down here in the orange, they had the plantation homes because a lot of them owned plantations where they had slaves working on their plantation as well. So yeah, a lot of them have plantation homes. So the plantation homes are really large and grand, as we can see. So the clapboard houses were made with boards, and it was to protect the house from different kinds of weather. The stone houses, of course, were built from different types of stone. So a very strong, nice house. And then, of course, the plantation homes. Those homes often reflected so each home reflected the part of England where the colonists came from. So those who made clapboard houses, that's how their homes looked in England. So they brought it to America. Okay. So again, so in New England, they had the clapboard houses. In Pennsylvania and New York, they had log cabins. In Maryland, they had stone houses. And in the southern colonies, they had plantation homes. Okay. Yeah, it's a real country. So 48. Dennis, 48, you can read the top, just the top. No, sorry, Joshua, did you read yet? No, okay, so Joshua, you can read the top part. You did, or you said no?
He's muted.
Oh, all right, go ahead, unmute Joshua.
Very few colonies had glass windows in their house. Glass was very expensive and sensitive. They put animal skin on or oiled paper over the window. Opening the oil made it easier for the sunlight to shine through the paper.
Okay, so when they built their homes, they did not have windows like how we have a glass window in our house because glass was very expensive. So instead of putting glass as a window, they would put animal skins or oiled paper. And so they would oil some paper, some oil on paper. And this was good because it will make it easy for the sunlight to shine through the paper. So they didn't have windows. So that's just something to keep in mind for the test. What did they not have in their homes? And that's windows. Now we have windows, but at that time they didn't. They would either use animal skins to cover the window or they would use oiled paper. So Dennis, on 48 at the bottom, could you read about the food that the colonists ate, the type of food they ate, because it was different from what we eat now. We're gonna see. Okay.
Did not have many pots of food. They cooked meat and lobster together in the same pan over a big fire. Colonists probably had some kind of food almost every day. Since there were no food stores and of food, the colonists had other ways of storing food for the winter. Foods like corn, beans, and apples. Food could be dried and even flavored. Cornbread and milk could be prepared with the supplies they had. Only supplies like sugar, flour, salt, spices, and tea were brought from the store. Sometimes the men would hunt for food.
Okay, good. So they unfortunately did not have pots and pans. So they usually had like one kettle or one, little pan they would cook out of. And so they would make a stew like every day. Okay. So a lot of the vegetables they had came from their own personal gardens. So they didn't have grocery stores. Remember, we talked about that. That did come eventually into colonial shops, which we'll talk about next week. But at that time, they didn't have like grocery stores where they could go buy anything they needed. No, so they had to grow a lot of their food. So that's why they ate a lot of vegetables as well. And so they would often grow their food, and that's what they would use to make their stew, their vegetables, right? And so there weren't freezers where you could freeze things or canned food where you could preserve things, right? But they would dry some of the food. So like fruit, corn, beans, they would dry it, because when you dry food, it's the way you can dry food. When they dry it, it makes the food last longer, right? So of course they knew cornbread. Squanto taught them how to make cornbread as well. And so they had sugar, flour, salt, and spices they would get from a little shop. It says store, but it's a shop. They didn't have like stores. So besides beef, that was one of the meats they ate. They would also get milk and butter from their cows as well. And like they did a lot of baking and cooking. So they didn't have like restaurants and all what we have today. They had to make a lot of their own food. They also had to grow a lot of their own food, but they made do with what they had at that time. So they would usually eat some kind of stew with vegetables and meat almost every day. They didn't have all kinds of pots and pans. They usually had one pot or one pan where they had to put everything in it together. That's why it just made a stew all together. Okay. So life is still better, right? Things are getting better. They're building homes. They have like certain things they know how to do. And they're growing. Now they're spread out amongst all the 13 colonies. They started out just in one place, and now they're spread across 13 different colonies. Okay. So this is early colonial America. A colony is land that is ruled by a government of some sort. And then we have the people who live there are called the colonists. And the days where England ruled over the colonies is called the colonial days. There were 13 colonies separated into three parts. You had the New England colonies, the middle colonies, and the southern colonies. They all had different kinds of homes. They had the clapboard homes, log cabins, stone houses, and plantation homes. Okay. All right, guys. So that's it for our social studies. We will review again on tomorrow as well. So this is colonial America. We're just beginning. We have two of this probably next week. Okay. All right. Math first. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to our math lesson.
Which page?
We're in math page. It'll be lesson worksheet 62.
The lesson worksheet 62A or just 62?
It's just 62.
Well, I'm on that page.
Lesson worksheet 62. This is what it looks like here, 62. Oh, yeah. All right, so guys, remember we have been talking about adding double digit of facts, and then yesterday, we learned how to carry over. So we'll just practice a couple of those today. That's what we'll mainly do. Yeah, that's probably all we're gonna do today is just that, practicing that, okay? So let's look at box one. I'm in box one. Yeah, I don't know why they got that inside. Okay, lesson worksheet 62. All right, so let's look at number one, guys. Let's answer our first fact. We'll go around answering all the facts. Okay, so Vaya, are you on the page? Because I'll have you up first.
Yes.
Huh? Okay, Dennis? You want to do the first one, number one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 43 cents plus 25 cents. Okay, walk us through how to add this one.
We start with the back numbers.
Okay, start in the back. What is it?
3 plus 5 equals 8.
Okay, so 3 plus 5 is 8. Now, does this look like we need to carry?
No,
Why don't we need to carry?
because there's not a second number.
Because the answer is not higher than 9. Guys, remember, the only time we carry is if our back number is higher than 9. If it's like 10 or 11, that's something we can't put down, okay? So 8, okay, so from my back numbers, Dennis, where do I go?
To the front numbers.
Okay, to our front numbers, and how do we add those up?
4 plus 2 equals 6.
4 plus 2 is 6, so my answer should be
68
cents. Good. It has the cent sign for it. All right, let's go to number 2, Joshua. So this one is 66 cents plus 18 cents. Okay, unmute your screen.
6 plus 8 equals 14.
6 plus 8 equals 14. Okay, so how do I show 14? So guys, remember, this is when we have to carry. So whenever we do the number 14, if you don't remember, we cannot put 14 down here like that. We have to look at 14 and we write it based upon the position that each number is in. So our back numbers is our ones place. So when we add 14, 4 is in the ones place. So I'll put the 4 here. And where does my 1 go for 14? It goes up here at the top in the tens place. Okay? So just remember that this is a carrying over. So now when I add my front numbers, I have to make sure to include this 1 in there as well. So 1 plus 6 will be 7. And then I add the last number, 7 plus 1 is 8. The answer is 84 cents.
Miss Prudence,
Yes?
I was going to do the first one, and I also said yes when you asked me, am I here? But I think
Oh,
you
yeah,
didn't.
your screen was out. That's why I didn't know. But you're next to do the third one. Okay, so number 3. So 49 cents plus 37 cents. Okay, Avaya, walk us through this one.
9 plus 7 would equal 16.
16. Okay, so how do I show 16? What do I do?
Put the 6 under
6 for
7
16.
9, the 9 7.
Okay.
And then put it on top of the dimes.
And then put the 1 on the dime side. So I still have the number 16. I just had to do it this way. Okay. Take it out of your mouth and pay attention because I bet you don't even know what to do.
And then add it to
Okay.
4.
And now what do I do from here? I add my front numbers. So I have 1
plus 4, that will equal 5.
Okay.
5
5.
plus 3 equals 8. 8. 8. Wait, should we be writing this in our book?
Yes, as we're doing it, you should be filling them in. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Go.
The third time. You really should.
Okay, let's go to number 4. Okay, Naraya, walk us through number 4.
6 plus.
So this is 44 cents plus.
Equals 10.
Okay, 4 plus 6 is 10. Now I cannot put 10. So how do I show 10? Okay, we put 0 because in 10, 0 is in the ones place. Where do I put my 1 in 10? On the 10, just say on top. Okay, we move the 1 to this column. So guys, I still have the number 10. It looks different. So now how do I add the front? Yes, how do I add the front numbers?
4 plus
1 plus 4. 1 plus 4 is?
8.
No, I always start with the top. 1 plus 4 first. So 1 plus 4 equals?
5.
5. Then I add this bottom one. Then 5 plus 4 is? 9. 96.
Who's that? Carson, your turn.
Are you ready to try one or no? Yeah. Okay. So 5, we have 65 cents plus 22 cents. Okay.
5 plus 2 equals 7.
5 plus 2 is 7. Do I need to carry anything over? Nope, I don't need to carry over on this one because 7 is, that's not over 9. Okay, and then 6 plus 2 is 8, 87 cents. Good. We're about to find out. Okay, and then our last one, number 6. 8 plus 53 cents. Hold on. 8 plus 53 cents.
Is that a different person?
Okay, how do I start adding? Okay, where do I start adding from?
The back.
So what am I adding?
6. I mean 8. Wait, 8, 9, 11.
So 8 plus 3 is 11. How do I show 11? I can't put 11 down here. How do I bring 11 up?
Other one at the top.
What do I do to the back one?
You put the back one at the right place.
One goes here and the other one goes right here. So now what do I do from here?
You do
1 plus 5 and it equals
6.
61 cents. All right, guys, could y'all get a little sleep paper? We're still gonna practice a couple of more. Go ahead and get out a little sleep paper. So that's it for the book work, but I still want to practice a few more. So get out a little sleep paper.
But it's not a beat.
When I say that, I'm talking to them.
You're so good. You know what?
All right, make sure you have a little sleep paper out, guys. We'll go ahead and just add a couple of more.
Okay.
All right, so Kenley, you'll be up for this one. All right, guys, let's go ahead and set it up. So if I have it like this, because I've seen in your book, sometimes it's like that, like this. Okay, so sometimes in your book it's written like that. All you have to do is just set it up one on top of the other. Guys, it is very hard to try to add your fact like this, okay? So when it's written like this in your book, I need you to set it up the correct way. 21 on top plus 79 on the bottom, okay? It's very hard to try to add the fact if it's written this way, horizontally. Set it up vertically, okay? I'm just letting you know, it's gonna be hard. Okay, 21 cents plus 79 cents. Kinley, guys, set this one up on your little sleep paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Kinley, walk us through how to add this one.
Hold on. Exclusions.
No, just tell me. Huh?
All my loosely papers are meant to a book.
They're what?
My loosely papers are meant to a book if you can see it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, just just go on a new page, that's all. Yeah, a notebook is even better. I just say loose leaf in case you don't have a notebook. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, 1 plus 9 is 10. How do I show 10? Wait. What's put 0, okay, like in 10. Don't do that, guys. Okay, where do I put my 1? Up here in the tens place. Okay, now how do I add my front numbers? 1 plus 2 is 3, then. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I was trying not to get it to do that, but that's fine. So whenever, guys, your front number equals higher than 9, you can put them all down. Only when your front number is like that.
100.
So this actually equals 100, yeah.
What? I did not get that. Wait, Carson.
Okay, next one.
That's okay.
Faith.
Okay, 4, 7, 7, 9, 10.
Okay, set this one up.
Okay, thanks. Everybody call me Mariah. I can't stand that. Yeah, the babies call me Mariah. No. What? Oh, and now you call me Tatai. Tatai. Okay. They do not even know.
All right, 47 cents plus 19 cents. All right, Faith, walk us through this one.
7 plus 9.
Mm-hmm. 16. So how do I show 16?
So put 6.
So put 6 down here for the ones place. Where do I put the 1? Up here in the tens place. Okay, how do I add them up?
plus 4
equals
5.
1 plus 4 is 5, and then 5 plus
5 plus 9.
1.
5 plus 1 equals 6.
So guys, don't forget, now you're adding 3 numbers, okay? So add your first 2, but don't forget this last one. All right, let's do 2 more, and then we'll be done with math. Okay, so I want you to try these 2 on your own, okay?
Okay, baby.
All right, try these 2 on your own, okay? Go ahead and set these 2 up, guys, and try these 2. So 56 cents plus 26 cents and 17 cents plus 77 cents. Try these 2 on your own.
56. 6 plus 6 equals I already know what to do. 6 plus 6 equals 20. And 5 plus 2 equals Now that 5 plus 2 equals 10 and 7 and 7 is 12. But 7 is not because 7 and 3 is 10. 7. Okay, we can't hear you. My candle. Hey, don't explode.
Okay, I'll tell you that.
Don't explode your head.
Okay.
I think that.
Can you add your stuff? Thank you.
Seven plus 7 and 1. Let it through that.
Are you adding in mine, please?
Yeah. Ma'am, yes, ma'am. 7. That's 2 plus 7. I don't see what it is. 94 cents.
Y'all shouldn't even be saying it out loud. That's the whole
That's
issue.
Faith said that. I said no.
All right, let's go ahead and discuss them. So let's see if you have them right. So our first one is 56 cents plus 26 cents. So we have 6 plus 6 is 12. I put the 2 here, carry that 1 over to show 12. So then I have 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 6 plus 2 is 8, 82 cents. Okay, and then our next one, 17 cents plus 77 cents. I have 7 plus 7 is 14. I put the 4 to show 14. Then I carry my 1 over up here. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. 94 cents. Okay, did we get those right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So this is how we carry over, guys. So just pay close attention in your books because some of the problems will require you to carry over. Some of them will not. But it's about knowing when to carry over. Remember, if your back answer is more than 9, it's higher than 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, any of those numbers, that is when you carry over, okay? All right, good job with math. Let's go ahead and move on to our phonics. Sorry, reading.
I already know what to do, Marie. Give it to the teacher. Miss Fugins.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, got your what page are you in your reading book? Also,
Say that again.
what page are we in? Are we on for a reading?
That's what I'm doing right now.
We on my puppy. Are we on for our reading book? 11.
Page 11.
Okay, and also, I went bowling for my birthday.
Okay, fine. All right, so page 11. So yesterday we read about the 10th Husky. Remember Sasha? She wanted to help her master, right? But she went to try to help him and she ended up going on ice and it almost cracked and she could have drowned, but her master came and rescued her. Okay, so let's look at page 11. Let's talk about My Puppy. We are. Stop biting on that, please. Okay, page 11. All right, Joshua, we're going around, guys, so y'all don't have to ask. We're going around. Okay, Joshua, start us off. My Puppy.
It's funny, my puppy knows just how I feel when I'm happy. He yappy and squirrels like an eel. Where when I'm grumpy, he's slumpy and stays at my heel. It's funny, my puppy knows such a great deal.
Okay, good. So it's just a little poem about the puppy. All right, let's look at our next story, page 12. Okay, Dennis? And I'll tell you when to stop, so you can start on 12, and I'll tell you where to stop on 13, okay? All right, you can begin. Oh, Dennis, you're on mute? We're on 12.
Cody, I heard them call. Hurry up. The game is starting. My friends were outside waiting for me to play baseball with them. Friends had told me that best one that I was the best one at throwing the ball. He said that I just had to play on their team. I told them I had to go get my mitt, but then I remembered where I had left it. I can't go there, not now, I said it. I looked up and down in the shed. In all the rooms in the house. Mitt, I go. Was nowhere.
It went on mute. So I had to go into that room. That was where you were going to stop. Okay. All right. So at the beginning of the story, Cody's friends are yelling out to him. And why are they telling him to hurry? Because there's a game. But what problem did Cody have? What problem does he have? What can't he find? He can't find his mitt. So he's having an issue finding his mitt. Okay. So he's looking everywhere, but he can't find it. All right, Avaya, you can pick up on 13. This is where we are, right here.
What word?
I took, wait.
Oh yeah, because I heard Dennis leave off. I had to go into that room. I took off my shoes so that my feet would
Recording in
hit
progress. Recording.
I left outside the door
You told me that twice already, and I already told you what I was gonna do. I don't need you to tell me again.
as a deep breath. I turned the knob of the door as slowly as a snail would cross the sidewalk. I took a peek inside. Everything was silent and dark, except for a glow from Noah's Ark night light on the wall. My heart gave a thump, 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 thump as I took a small step into the dark room. Nothing made a sound, so I took one more step. Everything was still. My city bed was
Okay, that's good. Oh, go wipe your nose. Oh no, keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish off the rest.
bed was on one side of the room and the crib was on the other. I looked around both.
Okay. So he's looking everywhere. Where are some places he looked?
He looked.
Okay, so he looked everywhere. His bed, his closet, everywhere. Now, where does he have to go and find it? Where?
Has to go.
He said into that room, right? Is that a room that he wanted to go in? No, it doesn't sound like that's the room he wanted to go in because he's like, well, we're going to find out. So what did he take off to go in there? He took off his shoes so he wouldn't make a noise, right? Everything was silent. It was dark. His heart is beating fast. So it must be really scary. So let's look at 14. All right. Yeah, Naraya. I'll be 1 second. We'll get started, okay?
But my mitt was not here. Either of them. Then I spotted my baseball mitt on a desk in the corner. I began to tiptoe to the desk. When I was halfway there was a loud squeak. I held my breath and took down at the floor where the squeak came from. I had stepped on Caleb's rubber duck. A stir came from the other side of the room, and then a cry.
Okay, so he's being very quiet, tiptoeing into the room, right? Does he spot his baseball mitt though?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's going across the room trying to get it, but then all of a sudden, what does he step on? A rubber duck, and then he hears what? A cry. Well, a cry after he stepped on the duck. Okay, 15. Carson. Okay.
Oh no, I said and tried to think of what to do. I ran to the cry. I said, it's okay, Caleb. Please don't cry. Baby Caleb did not even hear me. He just kept crying. Then I remembered a song my mom sang to me when I was a baby. I started to sing the soft, sweet tune, and soon Taylor was sleeping once more.
You can read it next week.
Phew, that was close, I said to myself. I took my mitt off the desk and on the way back, I made sure not to step on the duck. I began to close the door without a sound. Before it was shut, I turned to whisper, "Sleep tight, Caleb." When I did not hear a sound, I knew that he would. Can you get
Okay, good. So he didn't want to go in the room because he didn't want to make a sound because of who? Who was in that room?
Caleb,
Who is that?
his brother.
His baby brother, right? So when he made the noise, he woke him up and he started to cry. That's what he was trying to avoid. But how did he get him back to sleep? He sung him a song and he fell back to sleep. But in the end, what does he have? His mitt. And that's what he was looking for the whole time, his mitt. And he ended up getting it. How do you think it got in his brother's room? No, how do you think his mitt got into the room?
Oh, maybe his brother was playing with
His little brother probably took it and put it in there. Yep. All right, so good, guys. So that is it for our reading today. So yep, we covered all what we needed to cover, guys. Complete all your workbook pages and everything that you have to do, okay? And I told y'all we only did it Monday and Wednesday. All right, so y'all have a good afternoon. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Bible, okay? Bye-bye.